All right, so we have our dividend per share component, and now we're going to take a look at implementing the dividend calculator. So let's go ahead and go back to our editor, and we'll create a new component in source components called dividend calculator. And we'll create the JSX file and make sure we create the actual component. And we'll also create the CSS file. All right, so let's import the styles. And we'll create a section with a class name of styles calculator. All right. So inside of here, we'll have a header, and we'll have a section where we have an input field, and we display the current ask, and then we calculate the amount of shares you're able to buy for that amount, and then we are going to multiply that by the current year's dividend, and we'll display the projected dividend in the right hand corner. All right, so let's get started. So we'll need a header. We'll use an H3, and we'll say dividend calculator, and we'll give that a class name of styles header, and then we'll create a class name styles container, and then we'll have, let's see, all right, so we'll have one container around this, and then each one of these items will have its own container as well. So we're going to have a outer container that's going to have a display flex, and then we'll have two inner containers. So create two of those, and in the first one we'll have a paragraph with amounts in NOK, and then we'll have a input field, and we'll put the name down as amounts, and for now it's going to have a onChange handler that's empty, and we'll give it a class name of styles.inputs. And in the second container, let's go ahead and give this paragraph a class name as well. And we'll call that we'll call it secondary header. We'll call it descriptor. Okay, so in the second one we'll add a current ask header, and we'll have a paragraph, and for now we're just going to put in the value, and then we'll have one more container, and we're going to have the amount of shares and the projected dividend. So we'll remove the input field here and we'll add another paragraph. And this is going to be calculated, but for now we'll put in just a value. And let's go ahead and say current ask. That's going to be projected dividend amount, and this is going to be amount of shares. So we'll put in 1500 here, and we'll give this a class name, styles projected dividend. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our dividend component and we'll import the calculator. And we need to think about how we're going to display this. So we have our dividend list on the left hand side, and then we're going to have two components on the right hand side here. So we need to think about how we're going to structure the markup, and we need one container that's going to have a class name of, and we need to import our styles here as well. And this is going to have a styles dividend. And then we are going to have a div with a class name of styles container, and that's going to host the calculator and the aggregated dividend. So we'll hit save on that. We'll grab the dividend class and we'll go to our dividend module, and we'll add the first rule, which is going to be display flex. Alright, so now we can go ahead and style our calculator. Dividend calculator, and we go to the CSS module and we grab the divi. Let's just grab it from here. Yeah, calculator. I would say background color. It's gonna be white, and we'll give it a padding of var box padding. We'll give it a border radius, var box border radius, and then we'll go ahead and give it a margin left of 25 pixels. Let's say 30. And then we'll go ahead and grab the header, and we'll give this a width as well, 100% for now. Let's go ahead and check this out. So we have the dividend and we have the container. Alright, so we need to grab this div. So for a second, let's go back to our dividend component, and we'll grab the styles container, and we will add a property to that with 100% width, and we are going to add the margin left of 25 pixels here. And then we will go back to our calculator and we will remove the margin left, and width 100% seems to be way too large for this, so let's give it a width of 400 pixels for now, and we'll work from there. So let's go ahead and style the header. We give it a font size of var h3 font size, and then we'll give it a margin bottom 15 pixels, and we'll give the entire calculator a font size of var paragraph font size. And we'll go back to the dividend calculator and we'll start styling these containers here. So let's grab the container and we'll give that a display flex and justify content of space between. So that'll take the two inner containers and it'll line them up beside each other, and then it'll just push those to the edges of its container. So if we go back here now, we can see that we have the container here, and we have the amount of knock on one side, and we have the current ask on the other side. So let's go ahead and add some margin to the containers. And we'll say that we'll give it 15 pixels on the top and bottom, and we might even make it 20 pixels. All right. And let's also do font weight normal on the header. All right. Now let's go ahead and go back to our styling, and we'll check out the descriptors, which we are going to give a color of var. We'll go to our index file and grab the header color, and then we'll go back to our dividend calculator and we'll give these a class name as well. So give the, not the amount of shares, but give this a class name of styles ask, and this is projected dividend. So both of these will grab the ask and the projected dividend, and we'll say text align right. So let's see here. Looks like maybe we forgot to save. That happens frequently. Alright, so this now has the correct class. Let's see if we forgot to put a comma here. So that should take care of positioning that. And then let's grab the descriptors and we'll give it a margin bottom of, let's say, 5 pixels. Okay. And let's see what we have here. I want to give the ask and the input field and the amount of shares a dark gray color. So let's go back to our editor and we'll go to dividend calculator, and we have the ask here, and we have the, we'll give this a class name of styles shares, and we'll grab the ask in the shares, and we give it a color of var dark gray. Like that. And then we want the projected dividend to have the, let's try the dividend green. All right. Dividend green. And we'll also go ahead and bold that. All right. So now we need to go ahead and work on the input field a little bit. So we'll go ahead and grab the input class name. And we'll say padding 5 pixels, say border none, and then border bottom is going to be 1 pixel solid, and it's going to be the color of primary blue. And let's see what we have. Maybe we'll make it 2 pixels, and we'll say that the width is 100. All right. So I think that works. So we have our calculator, and I think in the next video we'll start putting the functionality together. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.